kay fèt an tout commune. Koute wadi yo pou pli informasyon.
Zot sa marché en twe en di dan bureau fondation. Et puis dise moun nan sa zot vle wè fèt. Zot sa voye en email. Zot sa voye WhatsApp. Et bi zot sa ekwi en let. Et zot pa
For more information, please call or WhatsApp 724-6586 or 459-7200 or email glyndiac.srdf@gmail.com.
Casualty 911, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. with the consultant. Health is not merely the absence of diseases. It is your social, economic, physical, spiritual, and mental well-being. Just imagine you on 88.5 Sufre FM, talking, questioning, sharing your experience, information, education, entertainment, news, instructions, advice on diabetes, high blood pressure, strokes, menopause, AIDS, pregnancy, sex.
Sex? Did you say sex?
As prescribed, take your medication, exercise, and diet. On 88.5 Sufre FM, tell a friend, call your neighbor. Casualty 911 is on.
And of course, good morning, 8 minutes after 10, and Casualty 911 is on. It's Monday, the 12th day of December 2022, just 14 days before Christmas. And we are so excited about that. But I'm even more excited to have Miss Fawn with me and Miss Louisa. Good morning to you and welcome again to Casualty 911.
Good morning, Romanus. Romanus always has some energy. Romanus is excited to see us. I was not even excited to see myself in the mirror this morning.
Oh.
But thank you, Romanus, and welcome to our listeners. Our regular listeners, thank you for always tuning in. For our new listeners, and we welcome you. We hope that you will listen to the entire program. You will ask questions. You will give feedback, because we are always looking for ways to improve the program. And we welcome any feedback that we can get from our listeners. We would like to engage and interact. As Romana said, Christmas is almost upon us. Some of us are ready, and some of us are still struggling to get things in place, house cleaned, gifts bought. And one of the things that we do as Christmas comes near is do a lot of shopping. Ada moun ka di pan la ha, ma fe anye, but la ou i ve an supermarket la, ou ka we trolley ya, ou ka we bay kale. And one of the things that makes Christmas Christmas for us here in St. Lucia is to go and get your meat at the butchers. Mm-hmm. We don't really do supermarket meat for Christmas, do we?
Not really.
Not really.
They don't have enough, and sometimes it's overpriced, if I should be honest.
So, at the butchers, we get our pork. Golo. On ti vient nous si adam moun ka kite la kwen la, mais c'est point précaution avec la kwen la.
What's la kwen?
La kwen is the fat, the skin with the fat on it. You know, a lot of people leave that. So when we talk about lean meat, la kwen la pa dan, but kite un ti morceau c'est Noël ou ka kite un ti morceau pour kite bay la ni gou kouman. All right? We go for our beef to make our little soup. and so on. That is our tradition. That is our culture. We look forward to it. Adam Muna Van where you are because you've lay first in line. So today we will be talking about meat. We will be talking about the meat inspection, what is required of the butchers, what the public should be aware of, so that we can all, reduce the stress. Because, sometimes you get there and you find you waiting too long, but it's because certain things are not yet in place. So we will be talking about all of those things. And Louisa is going to take on her role, her previous role.
All right, let me just remind the listeners, if you have any questions, if you want to call in to make a contribution, the number is 459-7885, or you can reach us on WhatsApp 730-5388.
Thank you, Romanus. And I guess they can also type in the chat on Facebook.
On Facebook or YouTube, You can ask your questions there as well.
Wonderful. So Louisa is going to take us through everything meat and meat inspection related, so that the general public is aware of. Sometimes things happen. We are used to things happening in a certain way, and then we say, "Oh, you committed by NEF," and it has always been there and probably not enforced. So we are going to talk about what the regulations are. Miss Wilson, Louisa is an expert in the field. She might be a little rusty because she has not been with the division for a few years.
Very rusty.
Not long enough for her to get too wee, but she'll be able to handle it. So feel free to ask your questions and just join us on the program today. So Louisa is going to start off with, we're hoping to cover several issues: the health cards, the temporary butcher's license, what time inspection is done, where you should go to get your health card. So all of those things we are hoping to cover today. So stay tuned in as we go through all of those issues. So take it away, Louisa.
Okay, so let me say good morning to all our listeners. And it's always a pleasure to be here. And this morning we want to speak about meat inspection and to keep our family members, our community members safe, and to have a wonderful Christmas. So, bon matin, nous vais parler about viande et puis ko ka gen viande nou ki sa pou gade, là ou ka gen viande nou, et puis pour make sure ou ka gen viande ti oh boy. The crew will have me this morning.
Fun needs to teach you some more.
C'est viande là qui pas gâté, qui bon. Et puis on chaile nous ka gen viande parce que c'est jeune nous, c'est famille nous qui tue les animaux, mais là ni on process ou ni pour aller through pour make sure that ou ka gen viande qui bon. Et puis process là c'est premier bagay les moun ka tue les animaux ou ka une vet là pour venir garder des animaux avant. So, docteurs animaux viennent garder les animaux pour make sure ils gardent les animaux pour make sure les animaux avant tuer pas ni pièce maladie, pièce bagay yo ça ouais qui ka empêcher ou tuer les animaux. Et puis les docteurs animaux a fait ça, ils ka ba un papier pour dire oui, les animaux bon pour tuer ou ça tuer les animaux. Bon bagay la ki la, ou ni pour mes animaux on côté ko vet là ça vinn garder. Ou pas expect pour docteurs animaux descendre bon la via vinwe animaux comment because quand tes animaux ni pour check. So ni pour mes animaux on côté qui pouet. Hein? Et puis docteurs animaux regarde des animaux ça là. Et puis si il ba ou OK il ka tag, il ka met un tag en dedans zo les animaux ba pour dire oui, les animaux ou ça tuer les animaux ça là. So normally vet la nou ka ni soufouye c'est Mr. Philippi. On chay moun connaît li because especially c'est moun ka tue tout le l'année yo a sav. Et ti environmental health kay ba ou number. So Apre ou fè sa, avan mwen di sa, avan vek la vini, tapi souple. Si ou kay tue zanimo, si ou kay bagay, make sure ou gen zanimo ou hen on isi from moun nan gen zanimo pa pase vole zanimo moun, because la kay ni moun ka pase ka check si bagay sa la. On chay moun kote fè sa le tan Noël, le moun ma we zanimo yo bo say chimè la yo leve bo mate yo pa wey. So souple, nou ka mande pou nou ka couper en laisse qualité practice ça là ben nous pas ve moun ka en dans pièce 3K pièce camp pour animaux so en yon ka fait douette so là on fait ça comme on dit vet la vinn garder docteur animaux ka vinn garder animaux et ka make sure animaux ou ça tuer animaux et puis là il ba ou OK then ou ça voni pour pray to environmental health. So, premier bay la ou ka fè c'est aller environmental health. Sou ka tue pli pase yon zanimo, ou bizen helpers, moun pou ede ou tue. So, sa ou ni pou fè, ou ni pou make sure tout se moun nan ki ka ede ou la ni pou ni health card yo. So, si, pour exemple, ou ka tue yon bef, ou pa ha di se ou epi kouzon yon ti ka tue yon bef, sa pa possible. Express monto au bef. Ça pas possible, nous tout ça, ça pas possible. So, ça, on y pour faire, on y pour dire la vérité. Ou quand il y a 4 moun ka tue, et pour ni 4 health card. Pas parler pour si ou dit quoi, on y 5 moutons, 3 cabouit, et puis c'est bagay ça là, because, c'est l'année passée, tout le monde qui a dit quoi, son seul l'autre moun yo, ni ka ide, là où il veut la, moun ou est quand il de ka tue zanimo, comment de moun sorti. So, tout ces bagay ça, on y pour faire, tout helpers ou ni pour ni health card, et puis, aussi ou même, because ou chez moun ka di, oh, nan just ka amasse la, mais amasse la, de le bagay chaud, ou ni pour aider vendre viande nan tout. So, on y pour faire health, tout le monde ni pour faire health card yo, et puis là, tout le monde, health card yo, ou ni pour porter dans office environmental health, ko yo kay ba ou tout requirements la, ko ou ka tue ki sa ou ni pou ni. Et puis yon a se bagay la yo ka mande ou la, nou sav tout moun pa ha concrete plasma ko yo ka tue. So yo ka mande ou ni pou ni glow la, running water, ça means water from the pipe, from a safe source. Et pas comme vie drum glow, et bon ka tue bon la vie ka pou glow la vie ka voyan la vie non. Ou ni pou ni glow, ou ni pour make sure tout moun ki ka endo tue ni had net an le yo. On chaitan ou ka we moun ka ende moun tue, moi sa vous ka tue ou ka ni had ou ka sali, mais la ni moun yo pa ni chemise yo gwa ouvert le yo, e ben yo ni yon short pants, pied yo a terre, non yo pa ve ça. Yo ve tout moun properly clad pour le yo ka tue zanimo et de tue zanimo. Et l'autre bay la kouan, si ou ka tue zanimo, pour di an di ou ka tue zanimo, ba an pied mango. Because ki nou ve, ki nou pa ve, se bay nou ka we tous les l'année. At least ou sa meti palette à terre, because ou pa reme sa ka fait, palette, plywood, ou kote pour, ou sa, ki ka we te pop ep net. Ou sa coupe tout zeb lak oli, ou on place la, fait place la gade kon kote, on moun sa vin gen, vian yo. Tapi souple, according to regulations là ou ka tue zanimo, la pa ni pou ni chien chak tout oli ou kote moun ka tue. Et son ba yo ka we tous les l'année. Oh yo, marche pas là. Because se chien en place là, yo ka pou de sang, yo ka pou de viande nan, et puis yo ka vini tout oli ou komoun ka. Et c'est pour là ou badio, ou ka we chien a passé lang les viande de bagay là. Bon, ou pa ka hete gosse, c'est yo viande ça là pour la petit chien. Et nous tout ça, because ou pa hage ou beb $10,000 pour la petit chien, hete ou bef moun nan comment. So, toutes ces bagay ça, on y pou en considération, là ou ka tue, zanimo, ki bef, ki mouton, ki kabouit, ou comprendre, ki cochon. So, on y pou kachile ces bagay ça là, et ti kote ou ka fait boudin tout, si pose net. Because ou chez moun kote me boudin dans vieux jom ti haouye, Noël là yo ka commencer à tirer ça dehors non. Pas oublier drum là hawiye et bon pas servir n'importe drum pour ka faire bouder ces bagay ça là, especially drum ti hani tout di faut qualité chimique candidat. On ni pour be careful ces bagay c'est qualité bagay ça ou ka servir. Et puis on cherche moun avant moun te ka faire ces practice ça moun pas te ka catcher de ces bagay ça mais plus en plus ou ka realize moun ni pour practice primaire manière pour empêcher moun malade. Et c'est pour ça ou ka ni c'est officier gouvernement ka passer pour check ces bagay ça là. L'autre bagay là nous ka mande ya, laisse officier vin inspect viande nan. Yo ka ni couteau en la main yo. On cherche moun couteau vin dou bout boy yo gade ça yo ka faire. Mais sou mal chebe couteau e bon bagay de l'on pas aimer ça. Et c'est yon bagay là nous ka empêcher ces accident. Et ti aussi si ou ouais docteur eh ben pièce officier gouvernement vin parler bay moun ki tue ya. Ou comme moun qui vin gen viande nan supposé bay on support pour ces officiers because in the l'air kon officier ou ka vin inspect viande nan c'est moun qui vin acheter viande nan ha ba bien plié pour passer mettre viande nan même et c'est bagay ou toujours kan hen de là ou pas prendre pièce vie approach ou y ve ou di good morning ou toi pese moun ha ka vendre viande nan avant inspect ou ka vin parler bay c'est moun do ha ka ba bien pour de bon matin yo respect ou et puis c'est yon bagay la qu'on fon dit l'année ça là yo ka commencer inspect viande 6h bon matin pour 6h au soir so là où y ve yo ka dou ki là ou yo sa vini inspect tout et pour raison yo ka di là non chay bagay ka fait a besoin chay queen on chay bagay ka fait so c'est officier même ni famille yo ni responsabilité yo tout et puis là yo ka aller en ce côté ça anti Noël c'est bien c'est ça c'est temps Noël il pas ka vini cléter bonnet so yo ni pour prendre toute précaution so on ni pour safeguard ces officiers à tout make sure that yo ive ces place ça la sound et puis safe so c'est yon nan se bagay la nou ka mande moun tapi souple pour point patience because c'est moun n'a pas quitté la kayo tellement bonnet ko avant ko fonde ka di c'est tradition là ouais 4 bon matin tout moun arrivé la ka espérer but et toutes ces crimes la ka fait là toutes ces bagay la ka fait comme nous pas avec mes pièces officier gouvernement en risque et de là nous ka kachile o qui ça kaive yo ti commune mais ou pas aimer ça c'est même c'est ti commune ça là c'est juste ça là ou ka ouais toutes ces crimes là ka fait so on y pour prendre toute précaution bon mais c'est moi ha parler là
Continue.
So là ou fini aller en dedans office environmental health ou ba yo tout health card ou ka pay $60 pour un temporary butcher's license et après ça là ou hen tout document ou ka procéder pour aller en dedans police station nan ko police la ni pour ba ou permission pour tuer. Alright? Bon nous te supposé ni police nous hodi pour parler about ça mais pas oublier ou ni pour un police station nan pour montrer proof ou gen animaux et les animaux pas volé et puis tout les documents ou supposé ni. Alright?
Louisa, qui manière ou dit yo ka inspect from 6 to 6 so qui manière chaque boucher ka savent qui les officier ka vini.
So là il va en dedans office environmental health yo ka ni ça yo ka créer un schedule. So pour exemple moun qui vini avant ka dit qu'on well natwe fonge Jacques et natwe pour 6h. So si ou ka fonge Jacques pour 6h pas oublier c'est officier ni pour faire soufouyer choisir canawi. So et ben fon ka sorti choisir et puis fon dit quoi moi même ka pour même 6h. So yo ka dit non si c'est même officier qui a fait tous les déplacements là yo ka dit non moi officier hani yon pour 6h c'est fonge Jacques et puis pour drive fonge Jacques descend choisir so ou ça ni pour en dit 8h à bon matin. OK so de là yo ka dit quoi moi vini yo ka dit quoi well la année mon fonge Jacques pour 6h l'autre moun en ville soufouya yo pour 6h30 et puis c'est comment yo ka mettre schedule là pour yo ça venir aller tout le monde qui pas oui. L'autre bagay là moun ni prendre en considération tout c'est délai c'est boucher à ka dit qu'on yo pas pour 6 heures. Et tout ces moun qui supposé ils viennent de yo pour qu'on leve cabane yo amin yo c'est Noël adam moun chaud yo pour qu'on leve yo sorte jour vert et là où il veut ou ka la fouette pas même fouiller di fait qui a puis so ou ka gaspiller tant officier ka venir là ko délai il ça fait deux moun ti ha ka espérer pour l'air et c'est délai courant officier ka tade délai officier ka couiller c'est moun à 20 vini pour make sure ou ha pa oui adam moun pressé pour dire oui moi ha pa oui là où il veut là yo pas quand même pas oui et tout ces problèmes ça là ouais un officier il veut tant là c'est toutes ces bagages ça là on est pour prendre en considération because les adam moun ba yo pas oui pour les ça là et ben de les moun dit qu'on yo ka tuer yon bœuf 3 cochons de les ko fin inspect bœuf là yo ha fin tuer cochon il ha pas oui pour inspect so one time on est pour inspect li one time because the honeymoon di ka espé pour même viande cochon et c'est comment bagay de les ka ouais officier ka tade vini en l'or pour temps ou bali l'air ou bali vous comprenez so prends ti patience c'est officier prends ti patience et puis make sure that si on a un problème ou discuss et puis officier so on comprend because là où dit on est 4 moutons et là il veut tout 4 moutons pour pas oui so on est pour vivre là pour l'autre lait et puis c'est là ça aussi on est pour faire l'autre monde so on est pour catcher toutes ces bagailles ça là.
Bon, Louisa, à ce sujet health cards là, pour ces moun na kawete kana oui choisi soufouye la bo oui tout au qui côté yo ni pour aller pour faire ces health cards là, qui laisse office yo ka aller.
So health card là yo sa aller kana oui tout moun connaît santé Mr. Belma yo sa aller là et Mr. Belma kay bay card là yo kay descend pour venir faire labs yo soufouye et puis on a fait docteur assis yo pour ces gens soufouye yo a connaître c'est vini environmental health office avant ou ka venir des passport size photo et pour ni pour payer $5 en post office là yo kay ba un papier pour payer $5 en post office là et forme et après ça kay vient dans office environmental health ko yo kay ba ou des cadre là et puis kay mes photos yo kay mes photos en les matcher non et après ça kay un lab là pour faire blood and stool test là après un result from blood and stool test ça là ou ka aller pour docteur assis ba ou pour make sure tout ba OK là les docteur fin siye l'âge cadre là ou ka porter vie by office soufouye et bien vie fort côté ou fait là et puis petit cadre là ou ka chebe là pour jour pour les officiers arriver ou ka mouche officier c'est health cadre là of course et puis tout monde ti ka aider ou et puis l'autre document tout et puis document avec la kay ba wa ça means docteur zanimo ka ba wa et puis c'est les autres documents on y OK so pour montrer tout ça avant officier a commencer ka inspect vienne
So ça c'est Jean Canawi Jean Soufouye choisi la bo oui vie formi coup denri qui côté yo ka
so denri yo ka mando pour aller venir office VFOA environmental health office VFOA ça c'est en dedans building Chitolia upstairs Wasco et ti bagala ki la en dans passe la tekani officier en denri même Mélanie ça la nous tout savent God bless his soul Mr. Vidal is no longer with us so yo ka mando pour venir en dedans office VFOA pour venir faire health cadeau et pour venir enregistrer et pour ces officiers ça là ça venir inspect tout. Mais nous savons des nuits quand on chay viande tous les l'année so nous demander tout gens des nuits ou ni gens qui des nuits passer commission ba yo pour ça venir office vieux fort pour venir enregistrer et faire health cadeau en process là. All right? So l'autre bagay là nous demander c'est Se moun an ka tue zanimo a, epi yo ni plas ka bay la, ou ni pou ni savon ep glo, mwen te oubliye mdi sa, pou lave la men, pou netwaye plas la ko ka van nan, epi bagay konbyen. Ou sav, la ou ka tue zanimo san ka poton chay mouche, epi se yon nan se bay la nou pa ve an le vyan nan, ou tout moun sa ba bot, se difon kalte, well, mwen pa pala bot difon kalte mouche, but tout moun sav, depi mouche ka pose an le vyan nan sak ka fet. So le sa la ou ni pou make sure that ou make sure that ko ou ka tue ya la son kote ki pop net et pou toujou ni savon et puis glow net.
Adam moun ka di yon basin glow.
Sa pa akseptable.
Sa pa akseptable. Glow mette yon ti savon adek tout moun ek la men san yo ka just pase yadan. Se sa ou min.
Se pa sa. So sou ka tue pou kayou sa ni yon rose ko ou sa ouve glow a et puis glow a ka free flow ou ka kouye sa. Eh ben sou ni yon mekanizm ko ou sa ouve ti tap on pipe ou run on pipe ko moun sa lave la men yo tout le, because la ou ka tue zanimo, se pa la men ou tout sel pou lave, la men ou pou lave tout bo elbozou, piaz ou sav tout patou ka sali, epi gwes zanimo a même ka peche la mon net bien, so toujou ni pou lave epi savon. L'autre bala nou ni pou dou la, le ou tue zanimo a, ou vejete tout sa ki an di den zanimo a, pa jete sa an kote ka santi bo kay moun, because o chay moun just kanik laje sa nepot pièce kote ki yon precipice yo kanik laje sa la, tapi souple ou ni pou ka, te wey fon ko zanimo pa ka vie, chien pa ka vie digli, ebe pes lot zanimo pa ka vie pote imute, so tout sa nou ka mando pou fe. Oui la han bel, epi me a même ni tan ou pa veni pièce problème ep ne bezou. Et puis tout se bagay sa ou ni pou pren dan kondisyon pa rete tout kaka zanimo a nepot kote ki kay cause un problème et puis ne bezou e ben mounan dan komin nan. Fodes maman chi yon ye.
Pour à présent, mais pour ça kachile en bay, mais ou ça continue, moi ça venu en chay bay pour
Alright.
toujours.
Somebody's asking, isn't castries easier for the Denry person?
Yes, they can if they want to, whichever area that's easily accessible to them. However, there will be a mechanism where the cashier's office will send the information down to Denry. But the other problem is sometimes when you register in castries, what will happen is that the time for inspection, it might clash. That has happened before many times because of poor communication sometimes, but the officers can always work around it.
So will the officers inspecting in Denry be from the castries office or the Viewfort office?
From the Viewfort office. And maybe some help from the castries office as well as the veterinary department. Normally over the years they have been having it depend on what is happening. So these are things that can always happen. All right.
All right. Let me just ask you: when you say 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., is it like on Christmas Day, or can they slaughter a day before Christmas? Because if it's 6 p.m. on Christmas Day, then that's too late.
No, not Christmas Day. The week before Christmas.
The week before, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The week before Christmas, normally that's the time.
People
up to
Okay,
or even
up till Christmas Eve.
Up till Christmas Eve. Normally Christmas Eve by 12 o'clock, everybody has already, especially persons that is slaughtering for sale. Mm-hmm. Normally on Christmas Eve, most persons have already slaughtered all their animals and so on.
Okay.
Yeah. And knowing that certain animals are in demand, these are the things that normally happens. They start very early and, to finish early. And the other thing I must say, tapi souple, sou di se moun nan ka tue 3 yon bœuf, 4 cochons, et puis 2 moutons. Laisse moun nan vini, yo ka wani 3 bœufs, 5 cochons, 20 moutons. puis problème là qui là, de le vet là a passé et puis pourquoi ouais toutes ces animaux ça là. Et puis ou ka met la vie moun en risque. Et puis it's true la belle c'est la belle mais ou pas mettre la vie moun en risque en même process là. Si c'est ça vet là ouais et puis vet là ba OK et puis c'est ça on est pour tuer c'est ça on est pour tuer. On laisse ou vieux couiller vet là et vet là aller because c'est vet là et puis c'est officier c'est moun ti aisé pour travailler pin. So sou vieux couiller pour dire qu'on well OK moi te dit deux bœuf, moi te dit yon bœuf mais il peut compter même no, il peut compter même 9 because by 9 o'clock sometimes on Christmas you don't get any meat, any beef. Il peut compter même 9 toute viande moi te bœuf moi te avant, beef moi te avant. So ou ka mande tapi souple pour vin biez ou non l'autre bœuf là ou te sa tuer. On l'autre bœuf. So ou dit quoi? Well, moi non l'autre bœuf mais moi vais tuer tout. So de là moun sa vin garder ba au vitement et puis couiller environmental officer pour inspection et puis ça work around schedule you et puis accommodate tout because c'est ça yo là pour travailler moun mais pas pour mais si vous fait bagay la douette il ka pli aisé en l'air yo de les mêmes vet là qui vini garder les animaux avant ou tuer là de les just ka wait là pour juste attendre ou tuer et puis ka vient inspect li ba c'est ba ça qui ça fait so nous commando pas faire bagay pour wizan wall de ou savent officiel là couille officiel because tout le monde veut faire l'argent et nous ça comprendre ça mais pas faire bagay pour mettre santé moun en danger il pas qu'à faire c'est pour faire gros l'argent et puis un moun et puis 4-5 moun il va Saint Jude et ben il va dans l'hôpital souffrir et ben pèse l'hôpital.
All right, with that note, someone is asking, has anyone died or been poisoned from meat that has not been inspected?
Well, I wouldn't know that. Because that information have not been filtered to me. And let me just say this, it is up to the person who is buying. So the customer, it is up to the customer. If you go to a place and you see meat is being slaughtered under unsanitary condition, it is up to you now to decide whether you want to purchase or not. So the power is with you rather than anybody else. So you know yourself, you know your body, you can see the conditions that the animal is being slaughtered under. So you have to take a decision now whether you feel it is best that you buy that meat, under these conditions.
So in other words, if the animal has not been inspected, that is just a risk that you're taking. However, if it has been inspected, is there some recourse if something does happen?
Well, it goes through the process, It goes through the process because many things can happen around the Christmas season. You have to make a determination it's actually the meat that got that person sick and not other foods because around Christmas season, a lot of people eat meat. They reheat their food and they don't reheat their food at the right temperatures. Some of them, the excessive drinking and all of things can cause people to be sick and so on. So you have that determination have to be made that yes, it is the meat that you actually ate.
So there would be an investigation.
Very much so by an investigating team. Okay, normally by the ministry's investigating team. And that consists of people from different departments.
The inspection is free? Is it free?
Yes, it is. Definitely. It is free. There is no reason to, you're already paying your temporary butcher's license, which is the $60. So yes, the inspection is free. Yes, it is free. So any officer can come in and inspect. And most times you can always, most persons know the inspectors and so on. They come with their coat, they have their IDs. If you do not know who your inspector is, you can always ask on the day when you come in at environmental health, and they will also give you the vet's number as well as the officer's number, as long as the officer is assigned a government phone. So you can always get that. All right?
Okay.
So, any questions,
Any other
guys?
questions? Okay, so since there are no other questions, in terms of the health card, Louisa, some people may be wondering why a health card is important if you're just going to be, helping out, skinning the animal or whatever it is. Why is that health card important?
Okay, so it's according to our public health regulation, slaughterhouse section 9. So this is what it really states. The health, one of the requirements is certificate of health. Every person working at or for a slaughterhouse or meat stall shall in the months of June and December in every year submit himself or herself to medical examination by a medical officer of health and shall procure a certificate from such medical officer stating upon such examination such person was found to be free of any infectious disease. And this infectious disease they call in tuberculosis, syphilis, lupus, itch, or any open or running sores. So these are the things you have to be mindful of. The medical certificate is one of the requirements by law, and a lot of people don't see the need for it, but it has its merit to it, and that is why we're asking persons to go and get their health cards. And many times I know on the day of slaughtering a lot of people get injuries, cuts and so on. We're asking persons to take the necessary precaution, and if they are if there is any injury where they get cuts and things, get some medical attention, and make sure they secure the wound properly before they go back into that meat and thing.
Ada moun ka just mawe sa kon chouhad.
Oui, on share moun ka fe yi.
So what's the proper thing to do?
You can get they can wear their gloves, their latex gloves, their food grade latex gloves, or they have the finger gloves. These are things you should have around you around that time, and so on. Because I found that mon ti nou plastan le dwet yo ebe peskote mwen pa gen vyen nan mwen ka di ou sa. Franchement, because these are the things that ring a bell. So I mean, but when you in meat, you have extra sharp knives and cutlasses because of the fat. It gets it very dull, so you have to constantly sharpen your tools. So these you must expect. I mean, some people do get some cuts and so on, but it's what they do after they get the cuts, how well they secure, I mean, these things. So you have to be mindful of all of these things. So you as an individual, I mean, wè moun na wè dwet yep yon chouhad. Gason sa ki vo, kout la just koupe mwen, ki mwen se chouhad.
Kout la wè tout san.
Ou pa se san zani mwebe, san moun nan ki an lè sa. So all of these things, I mean, you as the customer coming to purchase the meat, you have to be mindful of all of these things. And, some people turn a blind eye.
Sometimes it's not even just turning a blind eye. Ou la ka fe kous pou jen an chovyan. Nou kwen se dwet moun lan ou la ka inspect. It happens, you know, you're in a rush. You have how many people shouting, Debile aman la, mwen de ou 5 livyan, ou ba avan ba mwen. Ma vle morso sa, ban sa pito. So,
That is true, you get that.
So we need to, I guess, relax and try to be a little bit more aware of our surroundings so that we can, purchase safely. Right, Louisa?
Yes, sir. Let me just say that too. Many times we as, community members, we turn a blind eye, and afterwards when things happen, we tend to blame everybody but ourselves, and even the government officials, we tend to blame them too. But the government officials cannot be everywhere at the same time monitoring all these people, because you have your regular butchers as well as your temporary butchers that slaughter only around Christmas time. And persons need to understand these things, because I mean, for example, you might have 10 butchers in one area. You cannot be by every butcher, stall and so on, monitoring them. So sometimes by the time you turn your back, the thing that you tell them not to do in front of everybody, that's the exact thing they do. Now you as a customer have the right to tell them, but obviously I just do parfait ça, so and you have that option to purchase the meat or not to purchase the meat. You understand? But a lot of people tend to, they don't speak out, but yet still they feel they have to put the blame on the government official. But you have that responsibility yourself. Sometimes the government official never purchased the meat at that place, and so on. But then you are the one who purchased the meat, so you putting yourself and your family at risk. Yeah.
All right. So the consumer, yes. So you have to ensure that you be more observant.
Be more observant.
Yes.
Very well, because we say these things, but at the end of the day, I used to inspect meat for years.
Okay. So what's the process when you inspect the meat? What do you look for?
Me, I can remember room.
I think that's a very good question. And I'm sure if you give her a couple of seconds, she will be able to pull out of the recesses of her mind. What organs do you check? How you check them?
And let me ask you,
and what are you looking for?
Anybody ever try to bribe you to make a meat pass inspection?
No, I've always had good people.
Okay.
Bribing, no. It's community. It's up to the officer. The principles still stand, and when it as it relates to inspection. So community members don't really bribe people per se. Out of courtesy, they might offer you meat, but it's up to you as an officer to accept or decline the offer. And most times, officers do decline because it's not right. As for the meat inspection, after the vet have taken a look at the animal, the environmental health officer will come in, ensure that the slaughtering is done under the sanitary conditions, there is running water, everything, check all the health cards, and they will deal with the carcass, the organs, make sure that it is free of any diseases. And one of the things they do, they check the liver, the lungs, they check all the lymph nodes, just like human beings have lymph nodes. They ensure that the lymph nodes are okay. They check for the kidneys, make sure there is no worms and all of these things. And afterwards, they put the stamp. They put a stamp, and that stamp will say, okay, they're free to sell the meat now.
So the consumers, when they get there, what do they look for? They look for that stamp, or is there some?
You look for the stamp, because the stamp, they actually stamp the meat with the ministry stamp, environmental health stamp, with, how you call it, gravy browning.
So what if they sell that part of the?
No, they stamp the meat all over.
Okay.
And most times they put it on the all four.
The thighs?
Yes, the thighs, and they put it in a position that sometimes that's the last place they end up selling and so on.
Oh, okay.
So they put it on all angles everywhere. Because if you've been out there, you see the thing is stamps all over the meat and so on.
Okay.
And most times when you go there, you give it one or two stamps. Persons that are there will tell the person that come in, yes, the meat was stamped by the officer, and then they allow it, because these are small communities and people talk. Yeah. Or they see the officer pass already, so they know that's when they come out to actually buy the meat.
All right.
Okay.
So please be safe out there in purchasing. So you heard Louisa tell you officers will not be out at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. It has happened in the past, Louisa, right? That
Yes.
officers go out very early in the morning. I had the opportunity once to go out, and it was quite early that we left. It was definitely long before 6 a.m. Yes, I just wanted the experience. So I went out. So this year, pa sorti café fouette, ou ete chauffé an kaban nou. Pa kite kaban nou 3 di bon matin de ou kay gade pou vyan nou first in line. Because ki ou first in line, si te moun an rive la, se te lesa ou halas ou vle vie a kouche an kaban nou. So 6 a.m., I guess some officers at their own discretion may choose to go earlier, but it is 6 a.m.
And how long before the inspection can they slaughter? Because do they have to wait for the inspector? Because the
Yes, before they actually sell the meat,
before they sell.
they have to wait for the inspector.
So they can slaughter and then wait for the
After the meat is stamped, then they can go ahead.
Because the vet is the one who would say whether the animal is fit to kill, right?
Yes.
So once that has been done,
24 hours in advance, the vet will come in and take a look at that animal.
So c'est pas à présent pour à présent?
No, pas présent. 24 hours.
24 hours
There are
before.
times the vet will come and see it as long as time permits and tell you, yes, go ahead. It all depends. Like I said, we work with community members, so there are circumstances. And don't forget, before you slaughter the animal, there's supposed to be the resting period. Before, we did not understand why they bring the animals closer. They don't feed the animals and so on. So you allow that animal to rest within the 24 hours.
Why do they do that, though? Do you know?
Well, I am not an expert at it. Next time I'll have to bring Mr. Pierre to explain all of that process.
Yeah, starving the animal before you slaughter. So after the slaughtering, how long can that meat stay there before they sell it? Because like if you don't sell all today, you can't just leave it out there hanging there.
As long as you have the refrigeration facilities, you can put it in your freezer and so on.
Then, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Some people just have the meat hanging there the whole day. So is that okay?
Yes. When the animal dies, what the process takes place, the rigor mortis process, the meat gets hardened. Yes. So it can stay out for a while, but traditionally, sometimes it stays there for almost the entire day.
I don't think around Christmas time. Huh?
Not around Christmas time, but on the weekend, sometimes when somebody's slaughter and the process is slow. So what you find nowadays is that the butchers tend to buy, like, let's say if it's a big pig, a very huge one, they might slaughter it and share half. So no meat stays on their account because a lot of them don't have the refrigeration facilities.
They share.
They share it. You buy a cow, for example, around Christmas time. You buy a let's say a bull for 10 grand. Based on your community needs, you might not be able to sell the entire. So you share, like, for example, let's say Brad and Watcher. So Brad takes half and Watcher takes the other half.
Okay.
And they're able to sell out all their meats, and so on.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
And people buy meat, they buy, like, say, one pig, and then if the pig is worth $1,000, they share the cost and they just split and do what they have to do.
Yeah, that's very good collaboration. I did not know that those things were happening. So that's very good.
Some butchers do it island-wide. I remember in Babuno, some brothers used to do it. And, because you cannot sell, the entire pig sometimes on the weekend. So you have to,
All right. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say thank you to Louisa because she did an excellent job. So much information.
Some water. She did some water.
So much information. If you listen to that entire program, I don't think you could have any doubts about any aspect of butchering and the meat inspection. So everybody is ready, and the butchers, you got a little refresher. And for the customers, some of us, we just go, we buy meat, no pa mele, c'est viande nou vle. So now we know that we have to be more aware. We know what to look for. So I'm wishing everybody pleasant buying. Enjoy the meat. Les autres, ouais, moi, passe, ouais, pan là. Just ban, teacher. Viens aussi, moi, content. Viens cochon aussi, moi, content. So, debout, ni ça, moi, là. So, a Merry Christmas to everybody. I don't think
you not telling the people make sure they don't overeat and do all kinds of things.
It's Christmas. Si ou overeat yon jour, bakay fay pour whole saison.
Ça va être chaud.
Right, ça va être chaud. Yon jour, ça va être chaud. OK? Wom la peut-être. Pas boire trop pomme, hein? Wom la kay foute wate. But si vous mangez un gros plat manger pour Noël, ou just serve la with sa saison pour check out. OK?
Ay courir après.
Là, ou ça, là ou fin manger. Ka pou an ti marché, ou ka descend chimè, ou ka viye avant ou ay pose. OK? Because si ou pou ay coucher là, Adam moun, là yo fin manger ça, c'est 20 ans lè. Yo pas ça fait, yo pas ça tourner ni left ni right.
You hear the person talking? The person is talking from experience. So you see. But on a serious note, we just want to say to the public, ensure that you purchase your meat, from persons you think have gone through the right channels. Again, in our communities, a lot of people don't go through the right channels because they feel it's very costly and so on. And a lot of people like to come with that assumption that they're buying, they only purchase the pig or the cow for family members alone, but yet still you will see they sell even more of the meat than what they actually said it was for. So these are the things you have to be mindful of and just ensure that you go
So
through
once
the
you
right
intend
channels.
to sell, whether to family members and friends, or otherwise you need to go through the process. Okay. Si c'est pas cadeau, attends.
Yes. Même si ou pas vendre, ou pas buy for free. You know, only pour aller for right
They
process.
always say they're giving it for free. A lot of people say you're going to give it for free, and
Like
other
no
community
sell
members come out and they
And
ask to sell and they still sell. And sometimes it's just too much for them and their family members, so they end up selling anyways.
So just to make sure that everything is safe, let's just go through the process. It can be, some people may think it's very inconvenient. Sometimes it's not so much the cost, but they feel it's inconvenient. Tout monter descendre ça, mwen za fè mwen pou mwen fè. But it's important, so please take the time to get it done.
Là, il y a un nombre où il y a multiplié descendre.
All right. Well, 1 minute to 11. All right. So we're gonna
Good timing.
Yes, perfect timing. We're gonna close. Any final comments?
I just want to wish everybody a merry and safe Christmas. Be aware of your surroundings, not just when you go to buy meat. You know, at this time of the year, there are a lot of things happening. People are out to take advantage. Don't make yourself an easy target. And just enjoy with family and friends. That is what is most important. Apart from all the, gifts and so on, it's spending quality time with family and friends.
And we would also like to say thank you to all our partners, especially the radio program. Erlan, let me just say a good thank you to Erlan as well as Romanus and the Super FM staff for accommodating us throughout the year. We really, really appreciate it, and we hope next year that we will work even better with the Super FM family and also our partners in the community, our schools, other workplaces. We would like to say thank you so very much for accommodating us throughout the year, throughout the busy schedule, allowing us to take time with your staff and so on. We hope next year you will continue accommodating us and let us share our knowledge and experience with, persons out there at the workplaces and the community at large, especially through our regions from Soufresh, Roselle, Conries, and Fawn Region, Saltibus.
Labrie, Vieux-Fort, North and South.
You see? And Fawn is good all the way there.
Yes.
So again, thank you so very much. This is our last
Last for the year.
On a Christmas vacation.
yes. And hopefully for the new year, we're hoping that persons will come out and give more feedback so we can make the program even better and much livelier. All right?
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Please enjoy the rest of your day.
Casualty 911, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. with the consultant. Health is